Did you know that most people can instinctively sense when they're being lied to, yet many still struggle with how to respond effectively? It's not just about catching someone in a lie, it's about maintaining your composure, protecting your peace, and responding in a way that aligns with your values. In today's world, where honesty can sometimes feel like a rare commodity, knowing how to handle these moments is more important than ever. Whether in relationships, at work, or even casual encounters, navigating dishonesty with grace is a skill that can elevate both your personal and professional life. This video will explore 3 powerful strategies inspired by Stoic philosophy to help you manage these situations with calm confidence. These are time-tested principles integrated into the daily practices of some of history's most resilient minds, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of how to identify dishonesty, handle it constructively, and walk away stronger, not shaken. So, grab your journal, settle into a comfortable spot, and prepare for an in-depth dive into transformative Stoic insights. Along the way, I'll share actionable steps and stories that bring these principles to life, so stick around. You won't want to miss the practical tips that could change how you approach these challenging conversations forever. Without further ado, let's get started and uncover the secrets to handling dishonesty with the wisdom of the Stoics. The Stoic mindset in the face of dishonesty. Lying, at its core, is a distortion of reality, a way for someone to bend the truth to suit their own agenda or avoid discomfort. But here's the thing. How you respond to dishonesty is often more revealing about your character than the lie itself. As Socrates once said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." When someone lies, they attempt to distort what you know or believe. The Stoic approach is to stay rooted in your own clarity, acknowledging that the only thing you truly control is your mind and your response. One of the first challenges when dealing with dishonesty is managing the immediate surge of emotions, disappointment, anger, or even betrayal. It's tempting to confront the lie head-on or react impulsively. But Stoic philosophy reminds us that such reactions are unproductive and often make matters worse. Seneca, a master of Stoic thought, advised, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When someone lies to us, the pain often comes from how we interpret and internalize their words rather than the lie itself. The Stoic solution? Pause, take a breath. Remind yourself that their lie says more about them than it does about you. Think of a time when someone lied to you, a friend, a co-worker, or even a family member. Perhaps you caught them in the lie, and your gut reaction was to call them out. What happened next? Did they admit the truth, or did they double down, creating an even bigger web of deceit? More often than not, reacting impulsively only leads to defensiveness or conflict. By contrast, when you respond calmly and thoughtfully, you maintain control of the situation and of yourself. The Stoics were big believers in detachment, and this is where their wisdom shines. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When someone lies, their words are the outside event. You can't change their actions, but you can choose not to let their dishonesty rattle your inner peace. This doesn't mean ignoring the lie or letting it slide. Instead, it means approaching the situation with calm objectivity. Western psychology echoes this approach. Carl Jung spoke about the importance of self-awareness, saying, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In the context of dishonesty, your unconscious reaction, anger or hurt, can dominate if you're not aware of it. By practicing self-awareness and mindfulness, You can bring these reactions under control and respond from a place of strength rather than vulnerability. Another key element of the Stoic mindset is understanding the role of empathy. While it's easy to feel wronged when someone lies, Stoicism encourages us to consider why they might have felt the need to distort the truth. Are they afraid of judgment, trying to protect themselves from a perceived threat? This isn't about excusing their behavior, but about gaining perspective. Empathy can diffuse your own emotional response and allow you to handle the situation with greater wisdom. Imagine a friend exaggerates a story to make themselves look better, and you know the truth. Instead of confronting them and risking an argument, consider their motivation. Maybe they're insecure or seeking validation. By responding with understanding, perhaps by steering the conversation back to their real strengths, you not only avoid conflict, but also uphold the Stoic principle of focusing on what truly matters. The Stoic mindset teaches us the value of endurance. Dishonesty, especially from someone close to us, can be disheartening. But just as a strong tree stands firm in a storm, a Stoic remains steadfast in the face of challenges. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but rather mastering them. Over time, practicing this resilience strengthens your ability to navigate dishonesty and life's other obstacles with grace. Handling dishonesty with a Stoic mindset isn't about winning the interaction or exposing the liar. It's about staying true to yourself and your values. It's about refusing to let someone else's actions disrupt your inner peace. Detecting lies with Stoic objectivity. Lies often hide in plain sight, cloaked in words that sound convincing but feel slightly off. Detecting these subtle falsehoods requires more than sharp observation. It calls for an open mind and a steady heart. Aristotle once said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." This applies perfectly here. Before we can discern dishonesty in others, we must first develop clarity within ourselves. Stoic objectivity begins with this self-awareness, a calm foundation that allows us to interpret others' actions without the fog of our own emotions or biases. One of the most effective ways to detect dishonesty is by observing contradictions, not just in the liar's words, but in their entire demeanor. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the evidence at hand without jumping to conclusions. For instance, imagine someone telling you a story about how they couldn't make it to an important event because of a sudden emergency. Their words might seem plausible, but their tone lacks urgency, or their body language suggests discomfort, fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, or speaking in a rushed manner. The Stoic approach would be to take note of these inconsistencies without immediately reacting. Simply observing can reveal a great deal. Another hallmark of dishonesty is overcomplication. People who lie often add unnecessary details to make their story seem more credible, but these embellishments can raise more questions than they answer. For example, someone might explain why they were late to a meeting by launching into an elaborate story about traffic patterns, road construction, and an improbable sequence of events. Stoic objectivity involves listening carefully, not to catch them out, but to understand their narrative. Are the details consistent, or do they contradict one another as the story progresses? Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The truth tends to be straightforward, while lies often trip over their own complexity. Western psychology also provides insights into detecting dishonesty. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the part of ourselves we hide or deny. A liar's shadow often reveals itself through micro-expressions, fleeting facial movements that betray their true feelings. For instance, a brief flash of guilt or fear might appear before they regain composure. Stoics advocate for keen observation without attachment, allowing you to notice these subtle signs without letting them provoke you. Let's consider you're speaking with a colleague about a group project, and they make a bold claim about how much they contributed. Something about their statement doesn't add up, but instead of confronting them outright, you ask open-ended questions. Could you walk me through what you did? Or, what challenges did you face during your part? This approach aligns with the Stoic principle of approaching situations rationally rather than emotionally. By encouraging them to elaborate, you're giving them space to either clarify or inadvertently expose inconsistencies in their story. Body language can also be a powerful indicator of dishonesty. A person's words might say one thing, but their physical actions often reveal another story. Crossing arms, avoiding eye contact, or sudden shifts in posture can signal discomfort or deceit. However, Stoic objectivity cautions against relying too heavily on any single sign. As Epictetus reminds us, first learn the meaning of what you say and then speak. In the same way, observe all elements of a person's communication, words, tone, and body language before drawing conclusions. When faced with a statement that feels untrue, a brief pause can be incredibly revealing. Liars often feel compelled to fill the silence, either by repeating their claim or adding unnecessary details. For instance, imagine someone insisting they didn't borrow your book without asking. A simple, non-confrontational pause might lead them to over-explain. I mean, I saw it on the table, but I didn't touch it. Well, maybe I moved it, but only to make space. This tendency to talk themselves into a corner often exposes the truth without any need for accusation. Empathy, too, plays a vital role in detecting dishonesty. While it may seem counterintuitive, understanding the motives behind a lie can help you recognize it. Why would someone feel the need to lie? Are they protecting themselves, avoiding conflict, or trying to gain an advantage? Empathy doesn't mean excusing the lie. It means viewing the situation through a broader lens. By understanding their motivation, you gain insight into their behavior, which sharpens your ability to detect inconsistencies. Detecting lies is less about catching someone and more about maintaining your own clarity and composure. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize our inner peace over external validation. When someone lies, it's easy to feel disrespected or frustrated, but reacting emotionally only clouds your judgment. By cultivating objectivity, you not only identify dishonesty, but also model the kind of integrity that Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius championed. Dishonesty is a test, not of the liar, but of your own ability to remain steadfast in truth and reason. Lies may distort reality temporarily, but your commitment to seeing clearly and acting wisely ensures that the truth, as always, will prevail. How to respond using Stoic strategies. Once you've observed dishonesty, responding thoughtfully is the next step. Stoicism, with its focus on rationality and emotional discipline, offers 3 practical strategies for handling these situations effectively. Number 1. Silence as a tool. Silence is one of the most underestimated responses in moments of tension, especially when faced with dishonesty. The great Stoic philosophers, like Marcus Aurelius, emphasized the power of pausing before action. When someone lies, responding immediately often feeds their narrative. A brief pause, 10 to 15 seconds of intentional silence, can create a ripple of discomfort in the liar's mind. They may start to question if their story was convincing or if they've been caught. For instance, if a friend insists they didn't borrow your belongings but you suspect otherwise, instead of accusing them, try silence. Look at them calmly, without reacting. This quiet moment forces them to fill the void, often leading to over-explanation or subtle contradictions. Silence, when used strategically, isn't a passive act. It's a demonstration of your composure and control. Silence also serves another purpose. It gives you time to reflect. The Stoic principle of not acting out of impulse comes into play here. As Epictetus said, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A pause gives you a moment to align your response with your values, ensuring you're not reacting emotionally, but thoughtfully. Number 2. Questioning without accusation. When you suspect dishonesty, outright accusations rarely lead to productive outcomes. Instead, the Stoic approach is to ask clarifying questions that encourage the other person to explain themselves further. This technique doesn't just maintain the conversation's tone, it also allows the liar to confront their own inconsistencies. For example, imagine a coworker claiming they completed a task that's clearly unfinished. Rather than saying, "I know you didn't do it," you could ask, "Can you walk me through how you approached the task? I'd like to understand your process." This shifts the focus back onto them without making them defensive. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, often used this method, known as the Socratic questioning technique. By asking open-ended questions, he revealed contradictions in others' statements, guiding them to self-reflection. Similarly, your questions can gently uncover the truth without the need for confrontation. This method also reinforces a key Stoic value: maintaining harmony. By avoiding aggressive accusations, you're not just seeking the truth, you're preserving the integrity of the relationship. Whether it's a friend, colleague, or loved one, questioning with respect keeps the dialogue constructive. Number 3. Delay the conversation. Sometimes the best response isn't immediate at all. When dealing with dishonesty, taking time to process the situation can be incredibly effective. This aligns with the Stoic idea of controlling your own reactions rather than being controlled by the moment. If something feels off, say, "I'd like to think this over and revisit our conversation later." For a liar, this delay can be unsettling. They often rely on your immediate reaction to secure their narrative. By pausing the discussion, you disrupt their rhythm and gain time to analyze the situation. This approach is particularly useful in high-stakes situations, such as business negotiations or personal conflicts, where an impulsive response could escalate tensions or lead to further complications. Consider a scenario where a family member gives you conflicting stories about why they missed an important event. Instead of pressing them on the spot, you could say, "I need a little time to think about what you've said. Let's talk about this again tomorrow." This gives you space to assess their words and decide on the most Stoic way to respond. Delaying the conversation also signals self-assurance. It shows that you're not rushed into accepting their narrative and that you're confident enough to take your time. As Marcus Aurelius advised, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." A delayed response gives you the opportunity to adjust your judgment and approach the situation with clarity. Handling toxic reactions. There's something uniquely unsettling about toxic reactions. When faced with dishonesty, you may hope for an apology or an attempt to make amends, but instead, you're met with aggression, deflection, or even gaslighting. It's as if the liar, caught in their web, lashes out not because you've done something wrong, but because they feel threatened. As Aristotle observed, anyone can become angry. That is easy, but to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy. Handling toxic reactions demands not only emotional discipline, but also a deep understanding of human behavior. When someone reacts toxically to being questioned or challenged, it's often a defense mechanism. They may feel cornered, so they deflect by attacking your character or exaggerating their response. Imagine a situation where you ask a friend about an inconsistency in their story, and instead of addressing the question, they say, "Why are you always so suspicious of me? Do you even trust me at all?" This deflection shifts the focus from their actions to your supposed flaws, making you question yourself. For example, if someone begins gaslighting you, claiming you're imagining things or accusing you of being overly sensitive, a Stoic response might involve calmly restating the facts. Let's say a colleague claims to have sent an email they clearly didn't. When confronted, they might say, "You must have missed it. You always overlook things like that." Instead of reacting defensively, you can say, "I've checked my inbox thoroughly and I didn't see it. Could you resend it now?" By staying calm and focused on the issue at hand, you avoid getting entangled in their attempt to undermine your confidence. Another common toxic reaction is the escalation of emotions. Someone caught in a lie may raise their voice, become visibly angry, or start blaming others. It's their way of regaining control of the narrative by making the situation feel chaotic. Imagine a partner who, when questioned about an inconsistency, responds with, "I can't believe you're accusing me of this. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me." This tactic shifts the focus from their behavior to your supposed ingratitude, making it harder to address the original issue. Here, Stoicism offers another vital lesson, the importance of detachment. As Epictetus advised, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger. Their outburst is not a reflection of you, but of their inability to face the truth. By detaching yourself emotionally, you can approach the situation with clarity and avoid being pulled into their drama. It's also crucial to recognize when someone's toxic reaction crosses a line into emotional manipulation. Some individuals, when faced with accountability, will resort to bringing up past conflicts or unrelated grievances to confuse or guilt-trip you. This tactic, known as kitchen sinking, is designed to overwhelm you. For instance, if you confront a sibling about not following through on a promise, they might say, "Oh, so now I'm the bad guy. Do you remember when you forgot my birthday 2 years ago?" It's a deliberate attempt to make you question your right to address the issue. In moments like these, a Stoic response might involve setting firm boundaries. You could say, "I hear what you're saying, but right now, I'd like to focus on this specific issue. Let's discuss the other concerns another time." This approach acknowledges their feelings without letting them derail the conversation. It also reinforces your position without being confrontational. While it might seem counterintuitive, understanding the root of their behavior can help you respond more effectively. Ask yourself, why are they reacting this way? Are they afraid of losing face? Do they feel cornered or ashamed? Empathy doesn't mean excusing their behavior, but it allows you to see the situation more clearly and respond with compassion rather than hostility. Toxic reactions are a test, not of your ability to expose the truth, but of your ability to remain true to yourself. Lies and the chaos they create can shake even the strongest relationships, but your response determines whether they'll destroy your peace of mind. By anchoring yourself in Stoic principles, you can navigate these moments with grace, maintaining your integrity even in the face of anger, deflection, or manipulation. As the Stoics remind us, the storm is temporary, but the strength you build in weathering it will last a lifetime. When to walk away. There's a certain wisdom in knowing when to persist and when to let go. In our lives, we often encounter people who test the limits of our patience and integrity. While it's noble to strive for understanding and resolution, There comes a point when continuing the engagement only drains your energy and compromises your peace. Socrates, who championed the pursuit of virtue, once remarked, "Be as you wish to seem." In other words, your actions and decisions should reflect your highest values, including the decision to walk away when necessary. Walking away isn't about giving up or admitting defeat. It's about preserving your inner peace and staying true to your principles. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. When faced with persistent dishonesty or toxic behavior, the reality is that you cannot control how others act, only how you respond. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Walking away is an act of strength and self-respect, not weakness. Think about a situation where someone continually lies to you. Perhaps it's a friend who promises to change but keeps breaking their word. Each time you give them another chance, hoping they'll follow through. Yet they don't. Over time, this cycle erodes your trust and leaves you feeling frustrated and disrespected. Stoicism teaches us to evaluate these patterns rationally rather than emotionally. If their behavior consistently undermines your values, it may be time to walk away, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. The Stoic approach to walking away also involves avoiding bitterness. It's easy to hold grudges or dwell on the wrongs others have done, but Stoicism encourages us to release these burdens. As Epictetus advised, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Walking away with grace means leaving the situation without harboring resentment. Instead of focusing on how you were wronged, shift your attention to how you can move forward and grow from the experience. Let's explore a more personal example: family relationships. These can be some of the most challenging to navigate because of their deep emotional ties. Perhaps a family member has a pattern of dishonesty that has caused repeated conflicts. You've tried addressing the issues calmly and empathetically, but they continue to behave in ways that undermine your trust. Walking away in this context doesn't necessarily mean cutting ties completely. It might involve setting firm boundaries and limiting the time and energy you invest in that relationship. It's about creating space for your own peace while still acting with kindness and compassion. Walking away also applies to social circles. Imagine a group of friends where gossip and manipulation are the norm. You realize that being part of this group often leaves you feeling drained or uncomfortable. Stoic philosophy encourages you to consider the company you keep. As Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Choosing to step away from such a circle isn't an act of judgment. It's an act of self-preservation and alignment with your values. Western psychology aligns with this Stoic principle. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming the most authentic version of yourself. Part of that journey involves shedding relationships and situations that no longer serve your growth. Walking away isn't a rejection of others. It's an affirmation of who you are and what you stand for. Of course, deciding to walk away is rarely easy. It requires courage and self-reflection. You may wrestle with guilt, fear of conflict, or concern about how others will perceive your decision. But as the Stoics remind us, your duty is not to please everyone, but to live virtuously. When you choose to walk away, you're prioritizing your mental clarity, emotional well-being, and alignment with your principles. In the end, walking away is not about retreating, but about advancing toward a life of greater integrity and peace. It's a powerful reminder that you are in control of your path. The relationships and situations you choose to keep should reflect the values you hold dear. By walking away when it's time, you're not just preserving your own peace, you're setting an example of strength and self-respect for those around you. As you move forward, let the wisdom of Stoicism guide you in choosing the people and environments that truly align with the life you want to live. Thank you for being a part of Stoic Journal. If you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of the suggested videos on the screen for more insights into living a calm and resilient life. Until next time, keep practicing, keep reflecting, and as always, stay grounded in virtue.